What is going on, Bills Mafia? It is your host, Ajay Sabalski. A lot to talk about today. The last couple of days, I have been at St. John Fisher watching the past couple of practices. Pads went on today. If you're listening on audio after the show, I appreciate it. Please continue that support. It's been great seeing all the viewers after the show on all the audio platforms. I greatly appreciate it. It's been a great thing to have. So before we get started, shout out to my good friend. I got to stay up in Rochester, so I am thankful for that because I got to attend Sunday, Monday, and then my last day is tomorrow. The Bills have off Wednesday, and then they resume practice on Thursday. But what a couple days it's been. The fans at St. John Fisher have been great. The environment's been great. The crowd has been, it's been packed there the last couple of days. But I want to start with the big topic for me that I've noticed, and that is the rookie tight end, Dalton Kincaid. For him to fall to the Bills, and he was projected to be a top 15 pick last year in the NFL draft. For him to fall to the Bills, and for them to get Kincaid at that position, trading up in the mid-20s to select the rookie tight end, he's been remarkable. Not only has he not dropped the ball, not only has he done well in team drills and been an impact, but besides Stephon Diggs, he has been the main target for Josh Allen. He's the rapport is already getting there. The connection you see between them, it's already blooming, and it's going to be such a huge thing in terms of just the total, the offense in general. The offense is just going to be. There's a lot of variables that are playing into the offense this year, and adding Kincaid to this offense and what he can do over the middle and what he can do underneath and yards after the catch and all stuff like that. You see it in full swing. Today he had another great day during team drills. A great reception over the middle, turned it upfield, got the extra yardage. So a really solid day from the rookie tight end. Dawson Knox spoke on it, his route running ability, his ability to use leverage, find the hole in the zone. He's been able to do that. He's been dominant during, team drills. He's been on the field a lot. They've been using a lot of 12 personnel with Dalton Kincaid. And then yesterday he also had a very nice play, finding a spot in the zone right next to Terrell Dodson. Allen fires a bullet. Kincaid comes back to the ball with his hands, his sure hands that, he has not dropped the ball yet, like I mentioned, and gets upfield for an extra 10 yards. So Dalton Kincaid is looking the part. He's going to be a huge, huge, huge boost for this offense, and it's only going to be up from here. He's a rookie tight end. Expectations for rookie tight ends aren't high, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's going to get 75 catches, 800 yards, and 10 touchdowns. That might be an overreaction. It's still early in training camp, but his ability to play the game of football and know where to be, he just has the game sense, and you can tell. I think the team gets that vibe. I think Allen gets that vibe. That's why Allen's so comfortable. He's already been a reliable target for Josh. So it's just been incredible to see. The Bills are weird with the first round picks. Kyer Elam, I'll get to later. They've been weird with the first round picks in the past. Greg Rousseau. So Dalton Kincaid might be the person that finally is that gem first round pick that the Bills have kind of been looking for, and no one in the pre-draft process thought that tight end was an option. Nobody. It was either, people thought receiver, Jordan Addison, but all those guys went, 2021, 22, 23. So the Bills had to make a move, get a, established pass catching weapon for Josh Allen. And Dalton Kincaid has been that since, even I wasn't there the first 3 days, but from what I heard and people I've talked to, each day he's just been so consistent and so dominant that it makes you wonder, can he be that safety net for Josh Allen that the Bills were missing so much last year? Obviously, the loss of Cole Beasley last season was evident. Isaiah McKenzie could not find an established role in the offense. His ability to, do the things that Cole Beasley was asked to do was not in McKenzie's kind of role. He didn't understand how to do it. He couldn't do it at a good pace or good rate. He struggled with it. So to bring in a guy like Dalton Kincaid who can do all those things, who can be that safety net for Josh Allen, it's just amazing that, you know, I still can't believe that he fell to the Bills in the 20s, because he was a lot of people I respect, I listen to, they had this guy going top 15, top 20. So for the Bills to get him, he's going to be an instant impact player, like I said, and I expect big things from him. Will he set some records? He possibly could, because he's in an offense where there's a plethora of weapons, which I'll also get to later, that can get it done, unlike previous years where it was kind of like, well, if you take away Diggs, Allen, go ahead and figure it out. And that was kind of the plan. Now I think with Trent Sherfield, with Deontay Hardy, with the addition of Kincaid, with, you know, a rejuvenated interior offensive line, the Bills, I got asked a question today, and someone asked me, does it look like Josh Allen doesn't have to do as much? And my response to that was, the second that the Bills brought in all these guys that I previously mentioned, that was when Josh Allen wasn't going to be asked to do as much, because these guys have, you know, versatile skill sets. Trent Sherfield can play the X, the slot, the boundary. He can do all those things. Deontay Hardy is another guy. You can use him in jet sweep. You can use him in motion, pre-snap, and get him out in space for a little, you know, in the flat and get yards upfield. He's got speed. He's got game sense. So just a very overall, the talent they brought in so far has just been so dynamic, and you see it day in, day out. So that's my first thought in terms of Dalton Kincaid and what he can do. In addition to my dad, in addition to Kincaid looking so strong, I hear that Gabe Davis is looking really good too. Yeah, that's what I'm going to get to next, actually. So I will switch to that. Gabe Davis today had a day himself. You know, the fourth-year receiver, big year for him. A lot of naysayers don't think he can be a wide receiver 2, or he's not an elite wide receiver 2. I beg to differ. I think he can be a top 10 wide receiver 2. I think he is a borderline top 10 wide receiver 2 now. I think he can still get to that next level. The ankle looked fresh today during team drills. Allen found Gabe Davis 3 times in a row. One time, Gabe Davis was lined up in the slot, which ties into this whole Ken Dorsey's creativity aspect of, you know, the offense, where you're seeing more guys go to different spots. You never see Gabe Davis lined up across from Teron Johnson in the slot doing a quick out route, or, you know, getting open in the slot and getting, you know, a nice 7-yard gain. Gabe Davis is always the big hitter, the guy that you go to when you want the big play to go downfield over in a post route, deep, you know, a streak route, all that stuff. But Gabe Davis today during team, 3 for 3. Allen to Davis. You know, Trey White was on. It was guarding him twice, and Teron Johnson was on him once. Obviously, the 7-yard slot reception from Davis, and then the play of the day, or one of the plays of the day, was the Allen delivery to Gabe Davis over Trey White's head. Allen's done a really good job so far of giving his receivers a chance. They haven't been getting the greatest separation, and they have separators. Like Deontay Hardy's a great separator. Diggs is a great separator, but Davis isn't the guy that he's not going to get a lot of separation, but he can win it with his size and his hands and his height. And that's what he did today. Allen delivered a rope right over Trey White's head. And Gabe Davis came down with it and ran to the end zone for a touchdown. And obviously the offense was happy with that. Josh Allen ran on the field, hands in the air. And yesterday they had some trouble, Allen and Davis. They had some trouble on their back shoulder throws. They were kind of having some difficulty figuring out how to time it perfectly where Allen can deliver the ball to Gabe Davis's back shoulder and on time. So it was good to see today that improved in Allen and Davis. I mean, that's a connection that the Bills are going to need to have. He's a big time receiver. He's the second option on this team. And for him to keep getting those reps in the offseason, get, you know, his ankle back to 100%, which he says he is. And the comment when Stephon Diggs said, if I wasn't here, he'd be the wide receiver 1. I think that was kind of a mic drop for Gabe Davis to the fans, to the media, and saying, look, I do have what it takes to be an elite player in this league. I can do it. The ankle hindered me last year, and I didn't even play bad he's like, I didn't even play that bad last year. It was obviously a little over exaggerated because of the pressure on the offense, the pressure on the team. When you're the second receiver behind Stephon Diggs, you're going to have that added pressure to be great when Stephon Diggs is getting taken away. And Dave's had at times last year trouble doing that. So he's had a really strong start to camp, you know, really good overall day today. He's only going to get better. And I think that with this nagging ankle injury finally going away, I think there's some big things from Gabe Davis. Brandon Borden in the chat here. How are you feeling about guard Torrance looking good? Yeah, so to start the day in the initial portion of practice, Ryan Bates did get the start at right guard, but it was kind of like a walkthrough, slow session. It wasn't really, much physicality yet, even with the pads on. But once it turned to pad, or once they actually did team drills and were playing 11 on 11, back and forth, Torrance did get the majority of the reps. He looks good. He has a strong anchor. He stood up at Oliver, who I'll get to later as well, was one of the best players on the field on defense today. But Osiris Torrance did a really good job, in the interior, opening holes. You can tell he's a mauler. He attacks the linebackers at the second level, the safeties, all that stuff. So he's doing what you ask of him, and I think he is the leader in the clubhouse right now for the right guard battle, if I'm being honest with you. I think Bates is so important in terms of his versatility. He can back up. He got some reps at center today. With Mitch Morris must have been taking a break or something like that, and McGovern and Bates were McGovern and Torrance were the guards with Bates at center. So I think Bates offers that versatility where you can put him at right guard, left guard if one of Torrance or McGovern goes down. Mitch Morris, the concussion issues, that's a big thing. That they had players last year, but they weren't good centers. They weren't. It cost them games sometimes. Like the Minnesota game, that cost them. There were times when the Jets game that cost them the lack of Mitch Morris in the offense. So Osiris Torrance, really good day today. And then Ryan Bates, like I said, offers the versatility at every position. I'm really happy with that. Moving on to the other part of the offensive line that really stood out to me was Spencer Brown. The biggest concern, I think, for most Bills fans is the depth behind Spencer Brown. What player? Brandon Shell, David Questenberry. Are there players that can step up and fill that role if Spencer Brown goes out? Spencer Brown had a really good day today, and he looked good yesterday. His ability in the run game, his ability in space. The first play of teams today was a pitch to the left to James Cook. Spencer Brown got out in space, found Trey White. He could have tossed him. Like, I'm going to be honest. Spencer Brown's 6'7", 300 plus pounds, with a lot of athletic ability and speed and strength. And he got on Trey White, great technique, great block, and sprung James Cook free for a 20-yard gain. So beautiful start for Spencer Brown. It's what you want to see when your front office and your coaching staff was so set on this guy being that right tackle, that guy that could come back from a back injury and do the things you asked him to do when you drafted him. It's a really good thing to see Spencer Brown getting those reps that he wasn't getting last year and making the most of them, getting comfortable. And in the passing game, in terms of pass pro, probably his biggest weakness is an offensive lineman. There hasn't been a noticeable, wow, the right side of the line is doing really bad today. Like, I haven't watched any part of team. I mean, I've noticed Deion Dawkins getting beat a little bit even more than Spencer Brown. Dawkins a little inconsistent today. Leonard Floyd was getting, some good reps with him. But, I mean, on the right side, Spencer Brown was holding his own, and I really think he's done a good job. Reading some of the comments. Oh, another question from Brandon. Moving to the cornerback room. What's up with the mind games with Elam? Sounds like he's good thus far. At one point, are the Bills just wasting reps with this rotation? All right, I'm going to address the CB2 battle right now. So, obviously, Dane Jackson has been getting the majority of the reps. And everyone might think I'm crazy for this, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think Dane Jackson's a bad football player by any means. Jordan Poyer in his press conference after Friday's practice said, talking about the guys that have been there. He's played with all these guys for years. Matt Milano, Trey White's been there, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer's naming all these guys. And he mentioned Dane Jackson. I think what Dane Jackson can bring to this secondary room and to this, this whole DB room is he's been there for years. Sean McDermott trusts him to do what he is asked to do. And that's what he's done. He's going to get beat. That's what, your cornerback, when you have Trey White across from you, teams are going to target the second corner. That's what happens. He's not the most freakishly athletic guy. He's not going to, he's not that good in man coverage necessarily because he can get beat with speed, but his ability to play zone, know where to be, and cause havoc and make plays. Yesterday, he had a great pass breakup and recovery on Gabe Davis in the end zone. Just a beautiful play, caused Gabe Davis to, just got a little finger on it, moved the ball a little bit. Gabe Davis dropped it. Gabe Davis right after gave props to Jackson. So Dane Jackson, I think, has had a really good camp so far. He's done a really good job. He's been consistent. He's at whatever he's asked to do, he's doing. So that's my take on Dane Jackson. On the Kaiir Elam front, I mean, the thing with Kaiir, it's a struggle for me, is he has the intangibles. He has the speed. He has the fiery competitiveness to him. Today, he shut down Diggs in a one-on-one, and Diggs was pretty upset about it because, Elam was in his ear, like chirping him, like in his ear. They were going back and forth. So the next rep, Diggs went out there with Elam on him and says, Diggs goes, Elam, I want you. Diggs torched him. Faked it upfield, little hitch route, 6-yard hitch route. Elam was lost in the dust. Of course, when Diggs won the rep, he started going at Elam. They started bickering back and forth. And it was pretty funny because Elam, when you're a first-round pick and you're kind of in this situation, I think showing fire and pedigree and competitiveness is a good thing. But I mean, picking stuff with Stephon Diggs, one of the best receivers in the league. I love the confidence from Elam, but it was a pretty funny exchange there. But in terms of Elam's play for the last couple of days, yesterday, inconsistent. He had his moments where he looked like he knew what he was doing. He was attacking. He had a couple pass breakups. But at the same time, during one team session yesterday, Josh Allen looked at Kaiir Elam's way 3 times, and Elam, allowed 2 receptions. Diggs and Davis, one of each, got about 5 to 6 yards separation. Elam, made the play, but made the tackle. But he's just been too inconsistent for me. I think the problem with Elam is, and it goes back to what Brandon Beane has said this offseason, he's been too inconsistent as a practice player. Dane Jackson, you know what you're going to get. Kaiir Elam may have a higher ceiling, but Dane Jackson's floor is higher than Kaiir Elam's. And that's truly what I think it comes down to. And when you have guys that are so talented in the secondary already, with Teron Johnson, with Jordan Poyer, with Micah Hyde, that's going to account for, maybe we don't need the most, the guy that can make the big play or the splash play or be the, quick, corner that can play press man and do all that stuff. Maybe you just need the reliable guy with the higher floor that what you're going to get out of him week in, week out. So right now, I think it is Dane Jackson's battle to lose. I think he's not secured it because it's an open competition. They haven't named the cornerback 2 yet. It's still a long way from camp. Kaiir Elam could most definitely make a push. He was a first-round pick. He's made plays last year when he was in there. And that's the confusion amongst fans, I think, is he did make splash plays last year, but at the same time, there was also moments where he was lost. And they want that to be fixed. And if that doesn't get fixed, how can you trust the guy? He might make the splash play, but is he reliable? That's where I think the difference right now is with Dane Jackson and Kaiir Elam. And then Christian Benford, great start to camp, but he got all second-team reps today. He's another guy. Like, look, if you can get Elam and Benford by the end of this training camp to be somewhat productive, or, they've been productive, but you can trust them. You can trust them in your system, and you can trust to put them out there on game days. I'd be okay with saying, hey, Dane, look, you're a good player. We got you on a 1-year contract. Maybe he becomes expendable. Maybe there's a trade partner for Dane Jackson down the road if you can really, truly trust Christian Benford and Kaiir Elam. But until that happens, I just don't see Dane Jackson going anywhere. I think he's a lock on this roster, obviously. But I just think he brings that higher floor than Kaiir Elam, and that's what I think is setting them apart right now. We'll see with camp moving forward how that turns out. Let's see some more questions here. Did I notice any tension on the field today? Yes, Marissa, I did. The Kaiir Elam and Stephon Diggs exchange was pretty heated. That was the most heated part of practice. So that was a pretty fun note. I love to see the competitive nature. Diggs is fiery, Elam's fiery. So it was good to see. And speaking of Stephon Diggs, what can I say? Put the drama. Put the drama to the side. It's over with. Like Stephon Diggs said, it's water under the bridge. Don't let the national media control that narrative that there's an issue here or something like that. Stephon Diggs has, been the best player on the field the last 2 days. He's just incredible at route running. His competitiveness, his willingness to teach the young guys, constantly in guys' ears, in the receivers' ears, in his room, be better, do this, do that, learn from this, learn from that. Gabe Davis said in his press conference the other day that he's like a best friend, his big brother. So Stefon Diggs, his leadership, you've seen it throughout all of training camp. He caught a 60-yard bomb from Josh Allen today on Dane Jackson. I know I was just talking good about Dane Jackson, but Stefon Diggs, fake. It was like a good route and caught it, brought it in for the end zone for a touchdown. So it was a really good play from Diggs. He also later in team caught one over the middle on a slant right behind Teron Johnson, found the spot in the zone, and Diggs was hyped. Like he was flexing, threw the ball in the air. He was really, really like excited about that play. So Ken Dorsey must have, drawn something up that was exceptional. And speaking of Ken Dorsey, I want to go to a play from yesterday's practice that was just incredible. I wrote it in my takeaway article. Ken Dorsey, his creativity so far has been, unbelievable. I think besides that Philly special today that almost got, the quarterback hurt when Teron Johnson made a hit on him and the whole St. John Fisher went absolutely quiet. Ken Dorsey's had a really good training camp. I think he's shown different looks. He's shown a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of pre-snap motion, a lot of, like I said earlier, lining up Gabe Davis in the slot. When have you ever seen that? You've never seen that. So he's doing a multitude of things to trick the defense. And the defense has been a little bit more aggressive with Sean McDermott. So a play from yesterday, it led to a Josh Allen 40-yard rushing touchdown. He was under center. He sent wide receiver Deontay Hardy in motion. They snapped the ball. He faked the handoff to running back Damian Harris, then faked the end around to Deontay Hardy. So Deontay Hardy's going this way. The defense went that way, but Josh Allen was the one that had the ball. Dawkins pinned his guy outside, and Allen skirted to the end zone for a touchdown. Beautiful play design. Just a perfect play call. I don't think I've ever seen a fake handoff, fake end around, and your quarterback keeps it and goes the other way. I mean, Allen, I'm not saying Allen could have walked in from 40 yards, but he could have done a light jog and gotten close to the pylon. Obviously, he ran his butt off and dove into the end zone and got the touchdown. So really nice play from Dorsey. So he's just been really good at designing plays, a lot of pre-snap motion, like I said, using guys all over the place. And I think it helps when you add such talent in the offseason. He wasn't working with a lot last year. He doesn't have to rely on, like I said, Cole Beasley or John Brown. Those are guys that, Cole Beasley's on the Giants, and John Brown, I don't even think has a job in the NFL. So to bring in a plethora of playmakers across the board in the tight end room, running back room, receiver room, I think he's just done a great job of using that so far, and hopefully they can continue to build on that. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow to see what happens. Any more questions here? Are we playing a 3-3-5 defense? No. So it's been a lot of base nickel. A lot of Teron Johnson on the field. I've seen that a lot. It's base nickel defense, but it has been a more aggressive one with that. So they are playing their base defense, but they're sending pressure. They're sending 7 at some time. So they're being more aggressive on the defense side of the ball. Ed Oliver, like I said today, best player on the defensive line. Won a rep against Osiris Torrance in O-line versus D-line before team drills today. And during team, blew up a whole screen pass, and Allen had to throw off his back foot and threw it in the dirt. So just an overall good day from Ed Oliver, getting that contract. I think if he can stay healthy and put it all together, he's in for a good year. And they need that because if Ed Oliver can, take that next step with Daquan Jones, the addition of Poona Ford, who made the pick 6 yesterday, which, Bills Mafia was freaking out. They wanted to see the video. It was pretty funny. Poona Ford picked off Matt Barkley. Josh Allen was in the middle of the field, chased Poona Ford the whole way down the field and tried to strip him of the ball. And it, didn't go too well. Poona Ford held on to it, and Allen, was pretty upset about it. But, overall good day from the interior defensive line the last couple of days. Poona Ford, like I said, he flashed. Ed Oliver's been the best player on the defensive line. So that's where the defensive line at and where the scheme is at. I really think it's just going to be a more aggressive a defense that knows how they like. Listen, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer and Trey White and Matt Milano, they've been in this system for so long and it's worked for so long. And I get it. Leslie Frazier's not here anymore, and there's going to be some wrinkles. And Micah Hyde has said that in his press conference the other day. There's going to be some things that are different, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a pretty similar defense, just a little bit more of an aggressive one. So that's where I'm at with the defense. They've done good. Jordan Poyer made a great play yesterday on a Josh Allen throw in the red zone, picked him right off. Great play by Jordan Poyer. 32 years old, he still got it. So the defenses look good, but I will tell you this: I think the offense has won the last 2 days, and I'm very pleased with how Dorsey has utilized all of the weapons and putting the players in good spots to get yards after the catch and do things that they've actively been talking about, and to actually see it live and to come to fruition. It's a really good sign, especially when your interior offensive line is overhauled and all that stuff. So that's my take on that. The media and fans were the ones with the drama. Yeah, in regards to the Stephon Diggs situation, I would 100%, agree with that. I think it was overblown, but it's also, when your best receiver is doing what he was doing in the offseason, it's kind of, there's going to be some beg for concern if things aren't taken care of. So I understand the urgency to be like, what's going on with our guy? Like what's going on? But he squashed all those questions. He wants to be a Bill for life. A couple more takeaways from today. Trey White. I mean, dude, after a kind of a rough day on Sunday, today, totally different story. On Sunday, Stephon Diggs beat him on 1v1s 3 times in a row, and you could see the frustration with Trey White. He comes out there today and has himself a day. First play, 1v1 with Diggs, of course, the first matchup of the day during 1v1s. Diggs tries to get across his face with his stem. Trey White, a little he got across his face. Trey White makes the play, recovers, bats the ball down. Great play by Trey. And then during team drills, he had a couple nice pass breakups on Gabe Davis as well. So Trey White, phenomenal practice today. And he's looking to build. And if the Bills can get him close to that all-pro caliber form with the safeties back and with whoever wins that CB2 battle, it's going to be fun. A couple under-the-radar guys, Quentin Morris, Reggie Gilliam. They're consistent players. They're always reliable. You know what you're going to get out of them. They're good blockers. They can make an impact in the receiving game. So I like both of those guys. They got in some packages today with the first team offense. A lot of 5 wide today with Kincaid, Knox, just mixing and matching, seeing what you got, seeing what playmakers can make the play. So in Gilliam and Quentin Morris are one of those guys, or 2 guys that got the chance to do that. Allen, I mean, besides a pick yesterday and a botched, it was weird. He was in shotgun today, dropped the snap for some reason. I don't know if he went to go back and throw it and it kind of fell out of his hands or something like that. But he's been methodical, patient, accurate. You see his elusiveness still outside the pocket, making the throws on the run, doing all that stuff. So Allen's been nothing but himself. Almost looks like he's in midseason form. I think he's getting a rapport with the new guys. Like I said, he's trusting them. He's trusting the offense more. It's another year in the system. Ken Dorsey was a first-year offensive coordinator last year, and he had amazing success. Now, I know it didn't end the way everyone wanted it to, and they hit a lull, and I think they went through a lot emotionally that all the players have talked about. But it's been incredible to see Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, that connection come back to life, and it never went away. But to come back to life and to put all that stuff in the past, I think Josh Allen has had a great training camp so far, and he's going to continue to do that. Let's see some more. I talked about the Philly special a little bit. Yeah, so it was a Philly special. He put Dawson Knox was in line on the left side of the offensive line. He put Gabe Davis in motion. Gabe Davis came across the formation. Gabe Davis handed it back to Dawson Knox. And then Dawson Knox tried to thread the needle at the front pylon to Josh Allen. Josh Allen tried to, reach it up with one hand because he was probably trying to make the highlight one-handed catch play during practice. And Teron Johnson made the play, landed on him, walked up with a slight limp, didn't get any attention by the trainers. So it was a scary moment, but it looked like he seemed to be okay. He was signing autographs after. So he looked fine, but it was scary. But I will say the defense, good for the defense to realize the play that was coming, to read the trickery, and to know, to get the stop in the red zone. That's a big thing. You want the offense to be good, but in the red zone. But when your defense is making plays, it's a good thing to have. Let's see. Yeah, middle linebacker. So Terrell Bernard got the reps today. Majority of the reps at middle linebacker. Terrell Dodson did yesterday. Not much to note on that. I think it's an open competition. I think Balen Spector, there's a comment here, I believe. Yeah, so John Roberts says both Jordan and Micah like Balen Spector at middle linebacker. So it was interesting today. Brandon Beane spoke to Tom Pelissero, and he mentioned, when speaking about the linebackers, Terrell Dodson and Terrell Bernard, in terms of making a nice play in the screen game today. Balen Spector's in the mix, but those are the two guys that are standing out right now. So I don't know if that was, indicative of where they're going to go. Maybe it was smoke. Maybe Balen Spector is who they really like, because, to John's point, Jordan Poyer did say when Balen Spector was in there on day 2 of camp, he had command of the huddle. He was getting his hands on balls. He almost had a near pick on Josh Allen. So Balen Spector's had a really good day when he got the opportunity. But right now it looks to be Terrell Bernard and Terrell Dodson as the leader of the pack. And it'll be interesting to see how that progresses moving forward. The offensive line, defensive line today with the pads on. It was a pretty stationary battle. I wouldn't say one side or the other won. One play that comes to mind that was really cool, Greg Rousseau lined up in the interior, which is not his normal position. He's an edge guy. So Rousseau was lined up in the middle next to Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd stunted inside. Basically, Leonard Floyd almost took Spencer Brown and Ryan Bates out of the play. And all Greg Rousseau had to do was get around the edge. Spencer Brown couldn't recover in time and won the rep. So it was good to see that they're willing to maybe move these guys around. Greg Rousseau can line up in the middle. He's big. He's tall. He has the hands. He can get his hands up. He's been a great run stopper so far throughout his career. That's one thing that has been consistent. The sacks have been coming and coming and coming, and he's been getting better and better and better. But his ability to, stop the run has always been there. So I think moving him on the inside, giving them different looks, it was really cool to see Greg Rousseau lined up on the inside. Leonard Floyd with a beautiful stunt in the inside, taking not only the right guard and right tackle out of the play, and Rousseau got around the edge for, what would have been a sack. There was no quarterback. It was straight up offensive line versus defensive line reps. A couple more notes from Sunday's practice. Puna Ford, like I said, makes the play of the day. It was awesome to see the Bills owner, Kim Pagula, at practice. I feel like it's a sigh of relief for, all of Bills fans and, honestly, the whole country and anyone in the NFL community. She's been such a great, leader for young women and all that stuff. So, props to Kim for coming out and, enjoying a nice practice. Hopefully that can continue and she can get herself, more in tune and maybe, come to a couple more things. And, we'll see how it goes. And I'm just glad that she was able to, come to a practice and, Josh Allen was speaking to her after practice. So really good to see that, things that last year, Damar Hamlin, another one, like Damar Hamlin's out there, during special teams drills, full contact, boom, like just blocking. And it's just like, wow. It's pretty phenomenal to see a guy that, after all he's went through and all the, the mental strain that you have, to go out there first day of pads and just, this is my job. This is what I love to do. And he spoke about that after the practice today. Just his ability to, I love football, and that's what I was, made to do, kind of. So pretty emotional on that front to see Hamlin out there. Really, really a good day for him. He's going to be a great special teams contributor and be that depth at the safety room. So those are some other stories. Do you guys have any questions? I'm going to try and find a couple more notes that I have here. But overall, a really good couple of days for the offense and a really good couple of days for the defense as well. I think both sides have played good football. The defense has made plays when they've had to, and the offense is, spreading the ball all over the place with obviously Stephon Diggs and Dalton Kincaid being the two main guys on the receiving end of Josh Allen targets. So, Kincaid being the second guy behind Diggs already, I know it's early and that might not happen during the year, but just for purposes this early for a first-round pick, with how the Bills use their rookies and utilize them, it's pretty astonishing that Kincaid is, involved so much in the offense at this point. Tackling needs to be addressed because we were horrible. Yeah, I think Taylor Rapp will help with that. I think the tackling obviously does need to be better. That's something that struggled. Did they run any red zone offense? We've been at the bottom of that for a few years. Yeah. Well, they haven't been at the bottom of that. They've scored the most touchdowns in the NFL or top 3 for touchdowns in the NFL the last couple of years. The red zone offense struggled last year more because of the turnovers, so that the turnovers really killed the red zone efficiency, but the red zone offense was still good. Sometimes the turnovers really brought that efficiency down. I like the red zone offense. They have great spacing. Sometimes last year, I think some people thought it was too tight, and they were all sometimes like getting confused and in the same spot, the receivers, I'm saying. So I think they did a good job spreading the guys out, they scored a touchdown to Stephon Diggs today, and Josh Allen even handled the quarterback draw on Sunday, which, hey, you got to protect Josh Allen, and I get that, but Josh Allen on a QB draw from the 5-yard line is pretty exceptional. Has Von Miller been visible at practice? Yes. So Von Miller, working off to the side today. Again, he has not been ruled out for week 1 per Brandon Beane today, talking to Tom Pelissero at NFL Network. So Von Miller could make an appearance here soon, maybe come off the PUP. But if he doesn't, I'm sure he'll be put on the PUP once the season starts. He'll get the 4-week break because you have to. The difference for the PUP is when you're on the PUP during training camp, you can be removed from it any time. Once the regular season starts, if you're designated to the PUP, which is the physically unable to perform list, you got to wait the 4 weeks before you can return to action and practice again. So I'm hoping that Von Miller gets those reps in training camp. He mentioned that's what he needs if he wants to get back earlier, and better than later. He wants to be back sooner rather than later. So we'll see where that goes. He was working off to the side today, just a sleeve on his leg. He looks good. He's not totally there yet. You can tell he's not totally there yet. He's not as explosive off that leg that he tore his ACL with, but he looks good. He's a freak. He's a freak athlete. He's been through this before. He's torn his ACL before. So I think mentally, what you saw with Trey White, I think Von Miller mentally is in a better mindset just because of his experience going through it. And I think he's a very positive guy and I think he loves it in Buffalo. Like, I think that's another thing with Von is he told Leonard Floyd, his pitch to Leonard Floyd was this, and he said this to the media after the first day of practice was, if you love football, come here. And that's what Von Miller has kind of said to multiple players that he's tried to recruit here. Like, if you love football, come to Buffalo. Like, it's just such a fun time. It's the culture is great, really talented team, and all that put together. I mean, now Leonard Floyd's a Bill, and that could be a key signing. So that was pretty cool. Who's this? That's great to hear. I'm in Alabama, so you to be a Bills fans. I get a lot of trash talk about. That's funny. Yeah, and then also regarding Rousseau, Brandon Beane mentioned today he liked what he saw from him in pads. AJ Epinesa was getting some first-team reps with across from Rousseau, replacing Leonard Floyd, so that was good to see. And overall, just the defensive line, offensive line, everything. I'm really happy with, like I said, Kyrie Elam. We'll see how that goes. It's going to be a fun battle to watch. Quentin Morris, Jay Sternberger for the tight end 3 spot. That's been back and forth. Jay Sternberger had a nice play today, and so did Quentin Morris. He caught a touchdown as well. So I'll touch on a couple more things here. Deontay Hardy. I mean, dude, the guy can just separate. Every 1v1 is just his advantage. He beat Micah Hyde today, got like 6 yards of separation. Allen fired a beautiful ball down the field towards the sideline on a crossing route, about 30 yards. Just beautiful ball placement, beautiful route, and a beautiful play altogether. Deontay Hardy is looking like the guy that they signed him for. They signed him to a contract to be an impact player. He's got the ones on the kick return duties, the ones with the punt return duties. He did have a muff Sunday. But he's looked good. He's looked good there. So the Deontay Hardy's been exceptional and phenomenal. So that's where that's at. Tommy Doyle is a guy that some people have asked about. He's been working with the 3s, sometimes with the 2s. He's fighting for a roster spot if he can show that position versatility and play on the outside. If Spencer Brown goes down or something like that. So if he can show his versatility, I think that's important. So a couple more things. Let's see here. Matt Perino talked about a UDFA tackle to watch today. Richard Gourage was outstanding in 2-on-2s during an early portion of practice. On one rep against second-year pass rusher Kingsley Jonathan, Gourage showed off some impressive get-off, shutting down Jonathan and running him out of the play. So that's a guy that can play into the mix of with that tackle depth. I think Brandon Shell and David Questenberry were the presumed guys that were in the running to back up Spencer Brown, but Garage is a guy that can be maybe a dark horse roster candidate if he continues to do well and play, have a good training camp. So could the newly signed Isabella Whiteout win a special teams position? Andy Isabella has been getting reps with the special teamers. He's ran a couple nice routes. He beat Saran Neal today for a nice little, a little zigzag route over the middle. It was a nice route by Isabella. He's got speed, man. Like, he hasn't lost his step yet. You can tell he's got that explosion, but man, is he tiny. Like, his shorts, because they probably just brought him in, and I don't know if they had the right equipment, but his shorts are so low because he's so tiny. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, Isabella's looked good. He could make the roster. I doubt it, just because I think Darrington Evans has also been back there and has done a good job, and I think Shakir and Hardy are the top two return guys on this team for now. So I doubt Isabella can make a roster spot, but he can compete. He can make guys better. He has the speed. Maybe he's a guy that comes to the practice squad. He's a guy that wants to rejuvenate his career. He's only, he hasn't done that well in his career so far. He's, not started much and stuff like that. As a former second-round pick, he was actually drafted ahead of DK Metcalf and Deontay Johnson, if you can believe that one, in 2019. So crazy. Andy Isabella, that Jen Robert talking about that speed. He ran a 4.3 140-yard dash. So like I said, he has the speed. He has straight line ability, but I just question if he can get himself into the offense. And with so much talent ahead of him, I just find it hard for him to, make a splash play or make a case for a roster spot unless unless in preseason he's like unguardable and like Kyle Allen or Matt Barkley are just delivering like bullets to Isabella. But any more questions before I head out of here? I'm headed up to training camp tomorrow for the second day of pads, so I am excited for that, and it'll be a fun day. Hopefully they ramp it up a little more tomorrow. Today was a lighter day, and Sunday was, more of a heavy day with more team drills. Today, not as much team stuff, but they still work some stuff in. They focused a lot on the run game today, a lot of gap runs, a lot of zone runs. So James Cook's been the feature back. Oh, all right. This is what I'll end it with. James Cook yesterday was the player of the day. James Cook was phenomenal. Just an overall great day from James Cook. He has a big role ahead of him heading into this year. And on Sunday, he just looked, ready to take that workload right on. He's very versatile. He can do it in the run game. He can do it, very good outside the numbers or outside the boundary and runs. He's very good in the receiving game as well. And yesterday or Sunday, the throw of the day was a wheel route. James Cook used his speed to get to the second level, past Micah Hyde, right in the breadbasket. James Cook, touchdown. It was the throw of the day. I expect big things from James Cook this year. And that would, again, it comes down to this. And I'll finish it with this. Ken Dorsey's creativity is the difference right now for me through these first the 2 days I've watched. His ability to line up guys all over the place. His ability to, use James Cook. Damian Harris has been exclusively featured in the red zone. He's done a good job with that. He's been a touchdown scorer throughout his career. So I'm really high on what this Bills offense can be. And just the depth across the board there. It's just phenomenal across the board. Ken Dorsey, his creativity so far has done really well. And I will, be back tomorrow at St. John Fisher. Thank you to all of the 20 viewers in here. I appreciate that, and the chat was very, very good today. I appreciate that. You guys feel free to come in anytime and ask questions. It helps with the flow of the show and get me more and more used to doing this sort of thing. So I appreciate all the comments today, the questions. Again, thank you to my great friend who allowed me to stay here the past couple of days. And for all of you who are listening on audio, I greatly appreciate it. I'll say this, Dalton Kincaid's legit. Allen and Diggs are back like they never left, which they haven't left. And the defense has looked good. I'm not like the offense has won the day, but the defense has looked good. So with that, it's your host, AJ Sobalski, AJ's Analysis. And I will see you guys next Monday. I'm going to try and get a guest on. We're going to talk the scrimmage is on Friday. There'll be a couple more practices before then. So hopefully more content, more stuff to talk about. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you all, and have a good night.